Modern Warfare 3 just dropped and all the multiplayer maps are remastered Modern Warfare 2 maps. This got me feeling nostalgic, so I decided to platinum Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. I got my first trophy, Pit Boss, by completing the training course in under 30 seconds. While I was here, I remembered there was another trophy for beating BX's time in the training course. BX got a time of 19.7 seconds, and after a couple of attempts, I beat the time getting the trophy. At the end of the training course, I selected the Veteran difficulty, and when the mission ended, I got the trophy back in the saddle. The reason I'm playing the game on Veteran is because there are many trophies that require me to beat the game on Veteran. At the start of the next mission, we are given a grenade launcher attachment on our gun. While using the attachment, I got the trophy Threesome for killing 3 enemies with 1 grenade launcher shot. At the end of the mission, we find Shepard, and he tells us that he wants us to work for him now. We got the trophy Danger Close for completing the mission, and we got the trophy First Day of School for beating the first 2 missions on Veteran. The next mission starts and we play as Roach, and we have to gather a downed ACS module. After collecting the module, we leave, and we get 2 trophies for beating the mission on Veteran. After this mission, No Russian starts. Luckily for us, we can skip this mission and it won't affect any of the trophies. But what happens in this mission is important. The soldier we play as in the first mission was recruited by Shepard to his undercover facility. While undercover, we join Makarov's group and go shoot up a Russian airport. At the end of the mission, Makarov gets away, but he kills us because he knew we were undercover the whole time. When the Russian authorities show up and search the airport, all they find is a bunch of dead civilians and an American soldier. So the Russian government thinks the Americans sent in troops to shoot up the airport. Sensing the impending doom, we try to find Makarov to set things straight and tell the real story before World War III happens. To find Makarov, we first must find the guy who sold Makarov his weapons and ammo. We eventually find an informant, and we convince him to tell us where the arms dealer is. He tells us and we track down the arms dealer. When the mission ends, we get a trophy. The next mission begins with the Russians declaring war on America and World War III begins. We play as Ramirez, and our goal is to fight the Russians who are invading the East Coast. We end up on a roof and I find a gun with a thermal scope. After getting 6 kills with a thermal scoped gun, I get a trophy. After a while, we find a Predator missile and we use the Predator missile to fight the Russians. I get the trophy 10+ foot mobiles for killing 10 enemies with 1 Predator missile. When the mission ends, we get a trophy Royale with cheese. From this point on, we are going to be cutting back and forth between Task Force 141 and the American military. Task Force 141 is looking for Makarov, and the American military is fighting the Russians head-on on the East Coast. After interrogating the arms dealer, we have to leave the favela. There's this one part where there's a bunch of caged chickens, and I remember there's a trophy for killing a lot of the chickens in a rapid succession. I shot the chickens and got the trophy Colonel Sanderson. At the end of the mission, we get the trophy Tourist Task for beating the mission on Veteran. The next mission, we are back with the military fighting against the Russians in the streets of Virginia. At the end of the mission, we learn that there's a high-value target in a panic room that we need to extract. We find the target, but he's dead. We get the trophy Red Dawn for beating the mission on Veteran. After this, we have to break prisoner 627 out of the gulag. Apparently, Makarov wants to get to this prisoner, and if he's important to Makarov, then he has to be important to us. Before we do this, we have to clear some nearby oil rigs that have some anti-air measures known as SAM sites. While clearing these rigs, there are these rooms that we have to breach, and when we do breach the room, it goes into slow-mo. There are hostages in these rooms, so we can't just shoot everybody in the room. I decide to be precise with my shots and get the trophy Knock Knock for killing 4 enemies with 4 shots during a slow-mo breach. After fully clearing the oil rig, we get on the helicopter and head towards the gulag. While in the helicopter, we snipe enemies on the outside of the gulag. I get the trophy 2 birds with 1 stone by killing 2 enemies with 1 shot. After landing the helicopter, we make our way inside. We find a weapon armory and start loading up with weapons, but we end up getting trapped in the room because the door doesn't want to open. I grabbed a riot shield to block the enemy's bullets. After the door finally opens, I beat down some enemies with the shield and get the trophy Unnecessary Roughness. After this, we make our way to prisoner 627. We find out the prisoner is Captain Price. We take Price and leave the gulag and get 2 trophies for beating the mission on Veteran. The next mission, we are back with the military fighting the Russians at the United States Capitol. We make our way to the roof of this building where we get in a helicopter with a minigun. We use the minigun, but eventually an RPG hits the helicopter and we crash. We survive the crash, but the Russians start to surround the downed helicopter. Before we can see what happens, we are hit with a bright light and the mission leaves off on a cliffhanger. We cut back to Task Force 141, and Price has an idea that can turn the tides of the war. The Russians have submarines with nuclear missiles in them, so we go after those subs to prevent the Russians from using those nukes. While making my way to the sub, I get the trophy Angel Savior for not getting the Predator drone destroyed. Honestly, I don't know how I got this trophy, but it doesn't really matter. Near the end of the mission, we find the subs, and Price heads in to prevent the missiles from being launched. Everyone else stays outside to defend Price. While waiting, the missiles start to launch, and it looks like Price failed to stop the missiles, but this isn't true. Turns out he actually launched the missiles himself. We get 2 trophies for beating the mission on Veteran. veteran. Instead of launching the missiles and using them as nukes, he uses them as EMPs and sets them off over the east coast. This EMP knocks out all of the Russians' electronics, meaning they won't have a lot of the equipment they've been using to beat us. We cut back to the scene with the military and the downed helicopter, and we see Russian helicopters falling out of the sky because of the EMP. The EMP allowed us to fight the Russians a lot easier. We then decide to make our way to Whiskey Hotel. Whiskey Hotel is one of the locations near the White House that is surrounded with Russians. Not only are we fighting the Russians, but we also have to make our way to the top of Whiskey Hotel, because if we don't, the Air Force is going to carpet bomb the place. We fight our way through, get to the roof, and send out the countersign to show that we have retaken Whiskey Hotel, and so they shouldn't bomb it. At the end of the mission, we get 2 trophies for beating the mission on veteran. In the next mission, Roach and Ghost decides to infiltrate Makarov's safe house to look for Makarov. While doing so, Soap and Price make their way to the boneyard to try and find Makarov. While infiltrating the safe house, we don't find Makarov, but we do find a lot of files and stuff that Makarov uses. We decide to extract the files, and once we do, we decide to leave. We were overrun with enemies, but luckily Shepard shows up to save us. However, instead of helping us, Shepard kills Roach and Soap. The reason he does this is because it turns out Shepard told Makarov about the undercover soldier at the beginning of the game. And so instead of Makarov himself finding out that Alan was undercover, it was Shepard that told him. The reason Shepard done this was because in the previous game, Shepard lost 30,000 men. Because of this, Shepard wanted to win, and he wanted it bad. He was so willing to win that he caused World War III, because in his mind, if he stops Makarov, then he will be a hero, and no one will know he actually started the war in the first place. When Roach and Ghost got those files exposed that Shepard started the war, and he felt like Roach and Ghost were loose ends, so he decided to kill them. At the end of the mission, we get 2 trophies for beating the mission on veteran. The next mission, we cut to the boneyard where we are playing as Soap. We see that Shepard's men and Makarov's men are fighting each other. After Shepard killed Ghost and Roach, he sent his men to kill Price and Soap. However, Price and Soap knew about this, plus the boneyard was crawling with Makarov's men, so when Shepard's men showed up, they started fighting, and the boneyard turned into an all-out war zone. We make our way through the boneyard and escape with Price, and we get the trophy for beating the mission. While in the boneyard, Price asks Makarov for help. Makarov actually does help us and gives us the location of Shepard's base. We make our way to the base and see that Makarov was telling the truth, as the base is swarming with Shepard's men. I kill 2 men rappelling from a helicopter and get a trophy. We keep pushing through Shepard's base and eventually get to the end. All that's left is Shepard and us. Shepard tries to flee in a boat, but we follow him. We get the trophy drive-by for killing 20 enemies in a row while driving a vehicle. At the end of the river, we see Shepard gets in a helicopter and he tries to leave. Price shoots down Shepard's helicopter and tells us to back up. Unfortunately, we can't, and we end up falling down a waterfall. When we wake up, we have a knife and we go to kill Shepard. When we try to stab him, he takes the knife from our hands and stabs us. While he's standing over our body, he decides to shoot us but gets tackled by Price and misses. We see Price and Shepard start struggling as they're fighting each other, but it looks like Shepard has the upper hand. We decide to pull the knife out of our stomach and throw it at Shepard, killing him. Once the mission ends, we get the trophy Off the Grid, the Price of War, and For the Record. Now that the main story is over, the only trophies left that we have to get are cleanup trophies. On the first mission, there is a sniper rifle we could find with 3 bullets. If we use those bullets and shoot 3 different clowns around the map, we get the trophy Clown in Training. If we head to the training course, we can see Shepard observing us. If we shoot him here and there, we get the trophy Precognitive Paranoia. There is a trophy called Immortal, which we get for completing every mission without dying or reloading a checkpoint. While we do this trophy, I'm going to be completing other trophies when they pop up. Most of these trophies are silly and pretty easy, like kill an enemy with the impact damage from a grenade to the head. Plant the C4 in cliffhanger without alerting any guards or killing any guards. Complete an entire mission without reloading or meleeing. Kill 10 enemies in a row with an akimbo weapon. Instruct the honey badger to kill 80 enemies. Destroy the helicopter with a grenade on the only easy day was yesterday. Destroy 10 helicopters with the javelin. Kill 10 enemies in a row using 10 different weapons. And kill 11 enemies with claymores and loose end. Sorry I didn't go over these trophies in depth, but to be honest, they're pretty easy, and by the descriptions, you should be able to know how to do them. After this, I beat the game, but the Immortal trophy didn't pop up. Luckily, I knew which mission I had to do, and when I was done with the mission, I got the trophy. The trophy No Rest for the Weary I got by knifing an enemy who didn't know I was there, which I'm surprised I didn't get by accident, but whatever. Now all I have to do is collect all the intel. There are 45 intel throughout Modern Warfare 2, and collecting the intel allows you to activate cheats, which you can use in-game. I got the trophy for collecting 20 22 intel, and I got the trophy for collecting 45 intel. Now all that's left to do is to get the trophy, do not push this button. And I actually recorded myself live doing this. The final trophy I need to get is called do not push this button, where I have to ring the red bell in both rooms and survive the attack. Alright, so here we are, we're in the museum. This is the only trophy associated with the museum. I'm gonna take a Barrett 50 cal and something with a lot of ammo. Let's see. We'll go with an old reliable ACR. Alright, about to come to life. And time to run, time to run. So my goal is, I'm just gonna hopefully funnel, hopefully not too many people push me, and I'll just be able to take them out one at a time when they come down this hallway. Oh, sorry, Ghost. Oh, that hurt. I'll tell you, getting the platinum trophy on this game was alright. I mean, some veteran missions pissed me off, but I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Oh my god, I didn't even know he had an RPG. Oh, sorry, Price. Is that everyone? Oh. Oh, he almost got me. Flashbang. Alright, knife him. Oh, that's still not everybody. Okay, music stopped. That's everybody. Time to do this room. Like I said, nothing in here should be a problem, except the jug. When I see the jug, I'm pulling out the Barrett. There he is. There he is. Alright, that was quick and easy. Alright, jug's dead. Any guys go in here? Oh, they did. Alright, is that everyone? Okay, music's still going. It means someone's got to be around here. It's probably someone who... Oh, Sergeant Foley. Yeah, there we go. Do not push this button. And is that all you got? The platinum trophy. Let's go. But quick, before I go, I need to do something. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I had so much fun making it. And hey, if you want to see my Batman Arkham Asylum Platinum video, it's on the screen right now.